So this is the first game this season that I've actually witnessed of Tampa losing. And yeah, it sucks just as much as every other time I've ever seen them lose. So this is going to be a short video because my head has been hurting all day. I was watching this game with like one eye closed because I'm trying to not honestly I need a nap. My cheeks are flushed, but I was like, listen, I'm going to make this video and yeah. Tampa lost and it's not awesome. Now, I am going to say before we start that Minnesota has been really good so far this season. They have not lost in regulation time yet. They've gotten at least 1 point in every single game so far this season. So I wasn't going into the game expecting a blowout like we did with the Devils 2 days ago, right? I wasn't expecting that. And until the very end, neither team was up by more than 1 point. So it was a fairly close game. I'm going to get to that last goal in a minute, but first I need to go through the other ones, and then I'll talk about that one because I need to once again talk about the pulling the goalie stunt and just how that has been going so far this season. So, period one, it was a pretty slow start. Tampa was not being very aggressive, and Minnesota was pretty much from the beginning demonstrating why they've been kicking ass so far this season. And the first goal was made by Kaprizov. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly. And it was made at minute 6:23. And it took a while, but John Cooper, the coach of Tampa, finally tried to challenge the goal by saying that I don't remember what player it was, but he said that one of the Wilds crossed the blue line into their side before the puck and basically was saying it was offside. It wasn't called as an offside, but because the goal happened pretty soon after that offside thing might have happened, John Cooper was like, well, that goal shouldn't have counted because it was an offside. So the refs obviously have to review the footage, and we as audience members watching this on TV, we get replays of what happened, slowed down, different angles, trying to see for ourselves whether or not it actually was an offside. And I can confidently say probably not. It's a little subjective because the body and the skates of the player crossed the blue line before the puck did. But, crucially, he was pretty much in control of the puck, in almost every metric that you can be. There was no way that he didn't know where that puck was going to go next. He wasn't trying to catch the puck. I'm not even sure if the puck hit his stick. If it did, it would definitely not be an offside. I just don't know that it hit his stick or not. So it was not ruled an offside, and the goal stood. And obviously, if teams could just challenge every goal with no consequences, if they're wrong, then they would do it every single goal. But they can't. There is a punishment if you challenge the goal and it's ruled that basically the goal stands, and that's that you get a minor penalty. Tampa manages to kill off the penalty, but they don't get a goal during the first period. So we go into first intermission, with a 1-0 score. Period 2, it is another about 9 minutes until we actually get another goal. This goal is made by Hagel, and it's during a power play. The power play it was against Tampa. It was for the Wild, and it was Hedman. I guess he was trying to stop a goal from happening, so he basically wrapped his arms like a bear hug from the back of one of the Wild players, and so he prevented the goal, but he got a penalty. But thankfully, Tampa actually managed to get a shorthanded goal and tied the game. I was like, okay, pretty good. About 3 minutes later, Kucherov, with the help of Paul, manages to get a goal. Yes, a goal. The score becomes 1-2. And it's a pretty interesting play. Obviously, when forwards and shooters are going into, basically trying to get a shot at the goal, they don't want to telegraph that they're going to do that, so maybe they'll bounce it from one person to the other, and they were doing it pretty well. Paul and Kucherov were doing it pretty well and managing to trick Fleury into thinking that Paul was going to shoot the buck when actually it was Kucherov. And yeah, it was pretty skillful, and it fooled Fleury, who is a legend of a goaltender, although this is going to be his last season. He's kind of aging out of it, but still, Fleury was very strong this game and probably every game. I don't pay that close attention to Fleury just because he's not a member of the Lightning, and he's also in a West Coast division, so he's in the Western Conference. So obviously we don't see him quite that much, but still, I knew who Fleury was, and I don't know who most players in the NHL are, so that's saying something. But yeah, pretty skillful play. It becomes 1-2 with Tampa leading by 1. 7 minutes later, though, Eriksson Ek gets a goal, and he is tying the game 2-2. Basically, from what it sounds like, Sergachev was supposed to be on the right side of the post, and presumably Vasilevsky thought that that's where Sergachev was going to be, so he basically was just trying to protect the left side. The shooters passed the puck to Eriksson Ek, and it's completely clear in front of him, and he gets that goal, and it becomes a tied game, and that's how we go into the second intermission with a tied game. And I gotta be honest, I was a little hopeful that Tampa could pull it off. I mean, it is a tied, and there was plenty of time, but Paul, once again, is part of a important event during this game. This time, it's a bad thing. He high sticks another player, one of the Wilds, and gets a penalty. And so, obviously, there were a lot of penalties that happened tonight, and this one was crucial because it was the one that resulted in the game-winning goal, or what basically is considered the goal that had to have happened in order for the Wild to win, when Boldy gets a goal at a very weird angle. Vasilevsky was not expecting that puck to actually be able to make it in. Most players cannot do something like that, but Boldy did, and managed to actually get the go-ahead goal. And we know it was a go-ahead goal because, and by the way, this happened within a minute of period 3. Within a minute of period 3, Boldy gets the team ahead. Well, within a minute, Paul gets a penalty, and then the Wild get their go-ahead goal. And it's about 20 minutes later that the last goal of the night is scored, and it is by Kaprizov. It is basically a bookend. He was the first person to get a goal, last person in the game to get a goal, and so it's a pretty bad, the pretty bad ending to a pretty slow game. And do you want to know how he got that goal? Because the goal posts were empty. That's right. They pulled Vasilevsky so that they could get that extra attacker on the ice. And just like every other empty net I've watched this season, and that's both Tampa and the Norfolk Admirals, every single time that I've seen an empty net at the end of a game trying to get that extra attacker, so far this season, it has not resulted in a goal. For the people that emptied their net, it is a goal, a pretty easy goal, or two, maybe even three, for the defending team, or for the attacking team. So it makes what is a pretty tight game into what is maybe considered a blowout. It goes from a one goal lead for the team that won to a 2-goal. And in hockey, winning by 2 is pretty good. Pretty good. And so, yeah, Tampa put up a big fight tonight, and they tried. Can't say they didn't try, but it was not good enough against the Wild. Tampa is good this year. The Wild are great this year. Not the ending I wanted, but probably the one that we deserved. Anyways, that's about all that I really wanted to say tonight. It has been a very long day. My head is hurting so much. Next game is on Saturday against Washington. And Washington has been pretty good this year. I have, in my rankings, I have the Wild right ahead of the Capitals. I have the Wild tied for third place, and the Capitals are also in that three-way tie for third place. The other ones, by the way, being the Calgary Flames. Because, of course. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later, maybe on Saturday. Bye.